Good morning, I'm Luke Russert. In today for Chris Jansing, we got a taste of what's to come from President Obama the other day. Now Mitt Romney's getting his turn. Both men gave speeches to the American Society of News Editors, President Obama on Tuesday, Mitt Romney yesterday, and the gloves are off.
The president came here yesterday and railed against arguments no one is making and criticized policies no one is proposing. It's one of his favorite strategies, setting up straw men to distract us from his record. And while I understand the president doesn't want to run on his record, he can't run from his record either.
Fighting words indeed. Joining me now, New York Times columnist Charles Blow, and roll call is Shira Toeplitz from D.C. here in New York. Thanks so much, guys, for coming.
Thanks.
You know, we've talked a lot about Romney's ability to connect with voters. The Washington Post poll showed his favorability almost 20 points lower than the President Obama, and Romney ended with this comment yesterday, essentially saying you have to, just not like me, just believe in me. Romney seems to be running away from an optimistic tone. I want to play this SOT right now.
This November, we'll face a defining decision. Our choice will not be one of party or personality. This election will be about principle.
This, to me, is a very sober Mitt Romney. You know, we've heard all along from Mitt Romney, believe in America, believe in this optimistic notion that we're in these dark ages right now under President Obama. But he seems to be just shifting to this sober, well, you know, I know what I'm doing here. Let me get my hands on Washington. Does that message really resonate with Mitt Romney? Can he be the sober candidate?
Listen, Mitt talks about you can't run away from your record. That's his problem, actually. He can't run away from the positions that he has held. That is going to be the biggest albatross around Mitt Romney's neck. And number two, you don't have to win the base on either side in this election, and probably in any kind of modern politics. It's pretty much set up. Dems are going to vote Democratic, Republicans are going to vote Republican. You're really fighting over this thin slice in the middle.
Right.
And the middle has two segments. There are the truly engaged, it's a smaller group, the truly engaged but not really attached to either one of the wings. But then there's the bigger part of the middle, which is like a big tumbleweed. And they have to be one. They're attracted to someone with vision, who they actually believe in. They're not deep into policy. They're not going to vote on who's going to do what to Medicare. They really have to attach themselves to the person. And Mitt has a big problem, according to the polls, in that he is not selling himself as a likable, believable human being.
And Shira, on that point, you know, you watch TV, you watched the Final Four the other night, Barack Obama at halftime, long interview. Michelle Obama is going to be on The Biggest Loser. You see pictures of the Obama with the kids. There's this culture of personality that Mitt Romney just can't compete with.
No, and I think the more Mitt Romney tries to be likable, the worse off he is. When he tries to be appealing, when he tries to seem like a regular Joe, it looks totally inaccurate and inauthentic on him. And what's interesting is the Obama White House has done a fairly good job of making the president likable, no matter what the economy is showing, no matter what the Dow Jones average is. What they've done is, by doing these kinds of interesting media opportunities on The Biggest Loser, like you just mentioned with Michelle Obama, they've always kept his likability rating up there, which will be really interesting because, like Charles mentioned, national elections come down to the people in the middle. And a lot of times these voters think with their hearts and not with their heads. And if they find Obama more likable and more optimistic at the end of the day, he'll probably win their vote. And I think it's very interesting that Romney came out with this rather pessimistic strategy. It's like he wants to remind a lot of voters, wait, hold on, the economy isn't that good yet. Wait, don't believe it yet, you know.
Sober Mitt.
And it's a risky strategy
use a sports analogy. It's this me against the world mentality, right? Which is that I'm the only person in this race that has a serious understanding of how bad the situation is. I might not be the fancy guy. I might not be the guy with, you know, well, he has a beautiful family, but I'd say the beautiful family with the young kids, but believe in me. It just seems that mindset that he's perpetuating there, does it appeal to those swing voters?
It is a losing argument in a presidential election. You can't go to voters and say, vote your pessimism, not your optimism. Optimism wins in presidential elections, and it just does. And what you have to do is to have a vision for America that moves the country forward, that galvanizes those people in the middle, that says, it's not just that I want to dismantle what the other guy did. I want to do things that you would like to see
what is the vision?
Done.
Right.
And if you don't have that vision and that message as a candidate, that optimistic vision as a candidate, you cannot galvanize that middle portion of the electorate. And you're really talking about 5, 8, 10% percentage points. You're not going to have a 70-30
the few, the proud,
that's not going to happen.
The meaningful.
Right.
We'll bring another meaningful person right now. Joining me, Congressman Shaka Fatah from Pennsylvania. Thanks so much for being on the program, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a great morning. It's the opening of baseball season.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're a Phillies fan there. Let's talk a little bit about your state of Pennsylvania. Rick Santorum says he still has a shot to win his home state. He said this yesterday.
Well, he's out of touch. And
we have to win here, and we plan on winning here. You know, as I said last night, the people in Pennsylvania know me. You know, all of the negative attacks are, I think, going to fall on a lot of deaf ears.
Shaka Fatah, you know Pennsylvania politics. Can Rick Santorum pull this out against Mitt Romney?
No, he would lose his home state. I think the reason he's taking 5 days off is so that he can contemplate how he might exit this race. I think that the primary race for the Republicans has been entertaining, but I think it's kind of come to it's run its course.
I want to talk a little bit about the general election in Pennsylvania because obviously it's one of those swing states. President Obama, in the latest Gallup poll, has performed a lot better than he had in the fall. James Carville once said about Pennsylvania, it's Philadelphia and Pittsburgh with Alabama in between. Now, those Alabama voters aren't big fans of President Obama. Do you see from this point right now enough turnout from Philly and Pittsburgh for President Obama to win in November? Or can Mitt Romney play very well in those mainline areas with those suburban swing voters?
Well, I think we'll go through the normal motions. That is that Pennsylvania will be in play until the last 30 days of this race. And then the Democrat, that is in this case Barack Obama, as was the case for John Kerry, as was the case for Gore and for Clinton both times, will move out front. And you'll see less of an emphasis on Pennsylvania because in truth it will come back home. Now, the Republicans tried to think about maybe changing the way the electoral votes were gathered in Pennsylvania, but they've decided just to go with a voter suppression approach. But I think that at the end of the day, we still will be able to carry the state. It will be competitive for a while, and I think that Romney is will be there'll be a lot of opportunity for us to explore his points of views on a lot of the issues because he's changed them so many times. But particularly in terms of the manufacturing and industrial base of the country, his notion of walking away from the auto industry, his notion of a laissez-faire approach to our economy, I don't think it's going to bode very well here in Pennsylvania.
Congressman, stay with me, please. I want to go back to the panel here. And we're talking an interesting thing in Pennsylvania. Is in 2010, what I found fascinating is the Republican gains, a lot of them came in Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. They all have Republican governors now. Blue states in 2000 and 04 and 08. But there's a segment there that's not been very receptive to President Obama. Can Mitt Romney pull it out there? Are there enough people that would jump on top of him?
Well, see, first, Michigan, Romney doesn't have a shot. Doesn't have a chance. You might as well take it off the table. Pennsylvania, you mentioned this idea of it being Alabama in between. Mitt Romney won 2 or 3 counties in Alabama. So, I mean, this idea that they're passionate about Mitt Romney, that section of voters is just not. There's a lot of resignation at this point. Rick Santorum could lose Pennsylvania to Mitt Romney just because of timing. It is coming so late in the process. People have gotten to the point where they're overwhelmed by Mitt Romney and the money, and they believe that he's going to win anyway.
I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and I know that Carville quote well, but he said it several years ago, and Pennsylvania has changed a lot. We've seen a lot of growth in northeastern Pennsylvania around Wilkes-Barre, Scranton, and also in the Philadelphia suburbs. So I don't really consider a lot of the middle of the state like Kentucky anymore, or Alabama, like you said. I think it's more like North Carolina in a lot of ways. Yeah, I think parts of the state become more focused on business, and I think think out of the entire Republican field from the start, I think that Pennsylvanians, independents, Republicans probably preferred Mitt Romney over Rick Santorum. I think that's more their preferred candidate. I think Rudy Giuliani, when he was running 4 years ago, he made a lot of inroads there, and I think he would have been kind of candidate that a lot of Pennsylvanians go for, but that was 4 years ago.
I want to play